Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, and welcome to Pit Road Productions, or indeed to Swello Almeida's channel as well. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today, it is not Reese Gardner. Ladies and gentlemen, we have stolen the one and only Mr. Robert Kobe for what is going to be an absolute belter here at Road America for the Almeida Racing Academy. I gotta say, it's definitely a pleasure to be here. Robert, first time here in the, well, not first time in the Pit Road Productions booth, but certainly first time here with the Almeida Racing Academy. Now, I understand yourself, you have been on the fence about getting some coaching, so this is going to be a great opportunity for yourself to see just how talented some of these drivers are. But indeed, we're going to be at Road America today in the Spec Racer Ford. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts going into this race.
Well, I mean, it's Road America. I mean, anytime you bring any car to this track, it's fun, it's fast, there's lots of overtaking chances, there's lots of chances to put the car into the wall, but these spec racers, I've been watching the practice, looks like these guys know how to get the cars around. We'll see how they do in a pack. But yeah, Road America always offers some of the best racing that we've ever seen in any genre, any form, whether it's real life or a sim. So really looking forward to today and seeing what we get out of these guys.
Well, certainly yourself and myself included. Certainly is the iRacing SCCA runoffs this week. So as you were saying, Spec Racer Ford is actually one of the cars. So we're going to see the Formula B, the Renault Clios. I believe the 1600s may be going around as well. And I think the TCRs are as well. But let's take a look today at the race format. It's going to be a little bit different than usual. Gone are the free heat races. Ladies and gentlemen, this one's going to be slightly different. The qualification has 15 minutes of open qualifying, which drivers are currently doing now. Heat 1 is going to be a 15-minute sprint race with a feature race of 40 minutes. There is going to be no fast repair, and it is indeed a fixed setup. But let's take a quick look here at the schedule, see where they've been and indeed where they're going. They started off at Montreal before heading to a very tight and twisty stack of Sascuba, Sebring for round 3, and then the other endurance round there of Watkins Glen. Autodrama's Carlos Pace was round 5, with Chicago there for round 6, the street circuit. Virginia International Raceway, what a belter that was for round 7, albeit the grand course layout with Imola for round 8 last week, taking us to round 9 for Road America, Jerez for round 10, and the final round will indeed be at Winton, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly it's going to be an absolute belter, and right now in qualifying, any times have not been set yet. The guys are just on a pace lap. We're going to have to try and catch one of these drivers. They're out there trying to set a lap. Let's see who we can find. Let's try and mix it up a little bit this time, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see here, he's at the start of a lap. Let's see if we can find somebody a little bit further forward here. We've got people there in the middle. Maybe find somebody who's nearing the end, ladies and gentlemen. See who we can indeed find. As Kevin Adrian is tucked in there. Yeah, oh yeah, a live track. It looks like Kevin Adrian there with Martin Visser. So just getting around to the to Canada corner, I believe.
Actually, they're in the carousel right now, coming out and around, headed towards Canada corner of Kink. So you got Kevin Adrian. I'm curious. I've never really seen the draft on these. I'm not sure how powerful the draft is on these cars, but I imagine the straightaways are going to be lots of opportunities for overtaking with any kind of draft coming out of these cars.
Yeah, certainly the
draft. As I said, I'm not as familiar with these, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, the draft is absolutely massive on these cars. Myself, a bit of a Spec Racer Ford veteran. I remember saying to Connor, saying, look, you know, we've got to get these guys in the Spec Ford, and it was absolutely one of my best days when we saw that he did indeed make that the next car for the league. But we're going to go on board here with Kevin Adrian, ladies and gentlemen, as he's getting ready to start his first flying lap, bringing it down the back straight. You're going to see lots of passes here in the main race, but right now he's doing 109, 110, 115 mile an hour. He's got nobody there who he can draft. He's actually just done his first time lap, and it was a 228.46, currently the fastest on the board, as he makes his way down into turn 1, carrying as much momentum as he possibly can. He's got nobody ahead of him to draft, which can be absolutely huge here at Road America. Bringing it down to turn 2. Drops it down a third gear.
He's going to catch this car here coming up here. He's going to be able to probably grab this car down the back straight for the end of his lap. Actually, kind of a good time here on his second lap. He's going to be able to catch this car in front of him, depending on who's in front of him, how fast he is, and catch him down the back straight and really flick off that last lap as he has let the car go around him here and hurt this lap.
Yeah, that is indeed Martin Visser. He is one of the potent contenders here in the Almeida Racing Academy, but this could be absolutely beneficial to Kevin Adrian. Now, don't get me wrong, he had a fantastic round last week there at Imola, able to land an absolutely cluster of points. Can he keep it going there? I almost feel he's lifting it up a little bit there behind Martin Visser, but these two guys, potentially a teammate arrangement has been organised here, as they want to carry as much draft as they possibly can round the left-hander. You see a little bit of debris there on the track. Canada corner now, trying to carry as much momentum as he can. Try not to put too much heat into them front tires. Gracefully, gradually, he eases there onto the throttle as he brings it down to the kink. Ladies and gentlemen, probably one of the fastest corners on the track. I see a little bit of a lift there as well. He's caught behind Visser. This is not going to be good for his lap time as Ian Joyner goes fastest with a 2:27.25, but bringing it down. They are indeed side by side. Not what you want for qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. Brings it down hard into the braking zone. Braking zone on the right-hander again, carrying as much momentum as he can, flirting with the gravel, and I believe that may have been an off-track. Is Adrian going to back out of it? Yeah, he is indeed. He's backed out of it. They potentially have to try again on the next run.
Yeah, he got compromised by Visser there. I think Visser kind of got out of his way, but he just didn't do it soon enough to get out of his way for him to really grab that. Hopefully he can get a good draft off him for this last time. This will be probably his last flyer lap, as we are 7 minutes into the qualifying of 15. No, you probably get what we're looking at, probably 2 more laps before qualifying ends.
Well, certainly it's going to be a race to the countdown as Zdeněk Hamak has just gone fastest, late gen over 2:26.76. You can see there the car ahead of him. If I'm not mistaken, it wasn't Ian Joyner, but it was indeed another one of the students, ladies and gentlemen, able to give him an absolutely massive tow. Absolutely huge the tow is here. You need to find somebody to work with. As I say in that, Ian Joyner now, he's managed to put himself up into P2. And right now, Yan Chi, great to see him up here. He's currently P3 overall. And what is really mixing things up, the draft being absolutely monumental here, is the Premier and the Club drivers very heavily mixed together right now. The top 2 are indeed Premier, but from 3, 4, and 5, it's Club before the Premier drivers step back in all the way down to P13.
Yeah, it's really cool when you see that, because we have the 2 different classes. We have our Premier, and we have our Club, and it's really nice to see the Club drivers up there. You know, battling wheels with the Premier drivers. It just shows that the quality of driver and what you're classed as isn't necessarily what you're capable of. It's just what class you end up in based on how much you drive and where you are. But these are fixed setups. This is all about drivers, so it's going to be an interesting race. See these guys going around the track.
Absolutely, there you go, Robert Kobe, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have to get you out on one of these cars at some point. Certainly, one of the things we've been floating is having a little bit of a Pit Road Productions fun race at some point, and we see there Yan Cheek already there in the chat. Yan, make sure you're subscribed, because I don't have a feeling that you are, but he had a nice slipstream from Andrej Sabreda for most of the lap. Can't do better than this. That's fair play. You're currently there in P3. Fantastic stuff. Jersey DCR joining in on Swellio's chat as well. But right now, Kevin Adrian has gone purple in Sector 2. Are we going to see him able to pull himself further up through the standings? Right now, he's got Martin Visser behind him, and indeed Rich Mises on the back of that pack. Well, I have to wonder, Rich Mises currently there in P6. Are we going to see him slingshot his way up to the top of the standings? Certainly Zdeněk Hamak at the top of the grid right now. The slipstream absolutely huge here at Road America.
Yeah, great slipstreams down there. I've been seeing how good the slipstream is down these straightaways. You're really getting a really good run. So you see, how did Kevin Adrian do on that lap? Moved him up into 10th place with that lap. So we'll see what he can do on his next lap. Unfortunately, he doesn't have anybody in front of him to pull another draft on. And with them running 229s, 230s, probably looking at it crossing the line now, you're going to be really tired to get 2 laps in.
Yeah, definitely the time is a bit of a crunch there. As you see, Brandon Priest, he's currently there in P8 or indeed P5 in class. He's definitely a driver of good pace. Neil England, he's getting it up there today. He's there in P5 or P3 in the club class right now. Kevin Adrian, certainly he's right back in P11 or indeed P4 in class as well. Now, remember, you guys have just got to keep fighting here, and it is indeed going to be a hard cut on qualifying. You will not get to finish your lap. It is going to be incredibly close. As you can see here, Neil England really playing the slipstream game right behind one of the potent contenders here in the Almeida Racing Academy, the driver of the number 30 car. It is indeed Brandon Priest, but Rich Meesters now has just gone purple in Sector 2. You can see Martin Visser ahead of him, Kevin Adrian as well. I'm hoping Adrian can get a slipstream opportunity himself there, but right now Martin Visser has not yet posted a lap that really does reflect his talent. He's currently back there in P10, usually a podium contender, as Kevin Adrian is indeed backing out of it. Smart move there, indeed. The qualifying, having to have a little bit of strategy to get the most performance out of these cars.
Yeah, and you can see Rich Meesters there. He got held up a little bit. He was purple, and I think he had to back out a little bit there in the carousel, just coming up to the kink. But now he's got the draft here. Let's see if Vissers is going to get out of his way. He's going to push him. No, he's going to let him go through. It looks like coming up through into Canada corner. Still yellow, not purple. Lost a little bit of time behind those two cars, but it should be on a good lap. See where he goes. Visser off track again. And unfortunately, that really compromises the track when a car puts a little bit of debris on the edge of the corner there.
Yeah, certainly one of the new features to be coming to the iRacing service was debris, and certainly when it first came out, they maybe overkilled it a little bit there. It's the same as anything. It's all very pretty, and all of a sudden it becomes really potent. But right now, Rich Meesters, he's there. He's P3 in Premier Class, P6 overall. Are we going to see him be able to move his way to the top of the standings? He's got a 226.76 he needs to be, and yes, he has done it. 226.65, ladies and gentlemen, 1/10 of a second. Wow, 1/10, 100th, ladies and gentlemen, 11 hundredths of a second. Let's go with that. Meesters able to put himself up there on pole.
Very nice lap. Clear 2 seconds. Yeah, 100th of a second. Wow, that was a really good lap, and I think he probably would have been a little bit quicker had he not got held up in the carousel there. He might have even been able to get that thing almost down into the 225s.
Well, I'm actually getting called out for your microphone, Rob. We're going to have to get you a better mic at some point. We did ask the chat for a little bit of feedback on the audio, and we do appreciate it. But, yeah, we're going to get you a better mic probably for Christmas. We'll see there. Pit Road Productions, ladies and gentlemen, investing in the talent. But certainly we do appreciate Robert Covey indeed coming and stepping in. Reese Gardner actually racing this week, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it's some kind of vintage series. Fair play to him. I would definitely enjoy that as well. But we have a little bit of a dead heat here. Well, we do. Actually, we've got a freeway dead heat here. Javier Sobrino, Brandon Priest, and Steve Saunders, all three of these drivers with a 227.44. I have never seen that before. Neil England, 300ths of a second ahead with a 227.41. If you wanted to see close racing, ladies and gentlemen, a freeway dead heat, it does not get any better than that. Absolutely incredible consistency between the three drivers.
Yeah, and if they can keep that consistency in the race, it's going to make for some great battles coming through this race, especially through this sprint. These drivers are going to come out here. They're going to push hard, get the best position they possibly can for the feature race, for the full 40 minutes. So I can see a lot of drivers really pushing hard here in the first run.
Well, one of the things we probably should go over is indeed the championship standing so far. Don't get me wrong, this is mixed between two splits, ladies and gentlemen. There is indeed multiple splits happening in this championship race. See at the top of the food chain, it is indeed Ian Joyner. Timo Nolte, he's there in split 2 with Martin Visser in third. That is the teal-coloured car you would have seen just a few moments ago. Kemal Kassim, he's in split 2, as is Jeffrey Atkins as well. Edwin Glass Rivera, though, we've not been able to see him return for quite a while. Started incredibly potent in this season and has yet to make a return. He's been away for 2, if not 3 weeks now. Edwin, where are you? We need you to come back. We love having you race here on Pit Road Productions and indeed on Swello Almeida's channel as well. But you see there's Zedek Hammock. He's currently there in P7 as qualifying has come to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be in for a treat right here.
Yeah, everybody pushed really hard, saw some really good lap times in the qualifying, so it should be a really good heat here, and let's see what these guys can do, and then they're all together in a pack.
Well, it is indeed going to be an absolute belter of a race. The first one's going to be a 15-minute sprint with Rich Meesters getting the pole, ladies and gentlemen. Zdeck Hammock's going to be there in second with Ian Joyner in third. Yan Cheek, without a doubt, the best qualifying we've ever seen from him in the 445. He's definitely been working not just on his driving, but on his well-being as well. Staying cool, calm, collected behind the wheel. Fair play to him. He's there in P4 with Philip Falcon in fifth. Neil England alongside in sixth with Javier Sobrino there in seventh. Brandon Priest takes eighth with Steve Saunders in ninth, and Martin Visser surprisingly far back in P10.
And P11, we've got Kevin Adrian alongside Mark Schmurder in P12. Thomas Neiman and Michael Sabrina, sorry about the names, in 13th and 14th. We have James Conrad in 15th, and we have Dominic Sayo in 16th. Moving into 17th place, we have Zoltan Zomatar alongside Philippi Mason, Andrew Svabata, and Yanis Theophilopoulos. Ooh, there's a name. Rounding out our top 20.
Well, indeed, it is just going to be a top 20 for today, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a feeling that the SCCA runoffs have indeed stolen a few of these drivers, but right now it's going to be Rich Meesters. He's going to be starting on the front of the grid. That is an absolutely monumentous achievement there. Hard to get a camera angle on him. I've got to be honest, he's maybe a little bit camera shy here. And what do we got here now? Don't talk less, Mike. Just see if you would be okay with 2 years better than one. We don't have a mic here today, Jake. I don't know who exactly you're on about, but certainly the link to join the Academy does not work. Okay, in Swellio's chat. SwellioAlmeida.com there at Maple Syrup. I'm loving the name. You've got to be Canadian. And we got Jake Enns there saying free club races in the top 6. Indeed, that is nice. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously you can see some progress has been made, but it's going to be Rich Meesters starting it for us this time round. That's definitely a huge honor to start at the front of a race there, and we have to see exactly if he can hold on to it. Obviously, the slipstream is going to be huge, ladies and gentlemen. As you see here, behind the pace car, a field of 20 of these Spec Racer Fords already, all fighting, all wanting to take a quick look here at the championship points.
Yeah, that's going to be the run down to turn 1. It's going to be sketchy. Everybody's going to push cold tires. Let's see how it goes as they come up here and get the green flag.
Well, you can already see there, these guys are going side by side as we got Cairo Enns there in the chat and not racing. But right now, Rich Meesters doing everything he can. He's got Zdeck Hammock at the side of him. As you can see there, side by side, making their way down to turn 1. Ian Joyner lurking right behind him, unable to go anywhere. Cars are absolutely accelerating behind him. Yan Cheek tries to make a move on the outside. Cold tires, ladies and gentlemen, cold tires as indeed a clean start. And around turn 1, they do indeed make it there as Ian Joyner currently there in P3. Rich Meesters trying to hold on. Zdeck Hammock at the side of him. You're going to see some absolutely massive slipstreams happening down here. Keep an eye on the second and third row of this battle here as Yan Cheek trying to dip and dive and find his way to the front of the pack.
Really good start by everybody as they go 3 wide here. Oh, down into this corner, and it's going to be treacherous.
Well, certainly
let's see how they handle this.
Zdeck Hammock is in the middle of that pack. Meesters on the outside, and that's Ian Joyner on the inside. Meesters able to keep it on track, and fair play to him. They all managed to get round as Ian Joyner takes to the lead, but look right behind him. Zdeck Hammock in the 27 car, keen to try and make his way up through the grid. Rich Meesters back 2 positions. Yan Cheek still holding on a 4th, as all of these drivers are indeed still going cleanly. Absolutely fantastic start here at the Almeida Racing Academy as Meesters dips a wheel in the sand.
Yeah, really good racing by everybody. Really respectful. Everybody kept everybody late, left everybody's face to coming through that corner 3 wide. Beautiful racing, beautiful racecraft by everybody.
Absolutely fantastic stuff here. Let's try and check in with a couple of the battles happening further back. So it looks like Brandon Priest is going side by side with the number 15 driver of Neil England. England's going to be the inside. Brandon Priest takes to the grass. Is he going to be able to keep hold of it? He is indeed, but look right behind him. That is indeed, I believe, Philip Falcon trying to make a move as well. And right there, Priest is off again, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be a bit of a disadvantage here, making his way down the straight. Are we going to see some action in the braking zone? 3 wide. Kevin Adrian is going to be on the inside of this corner. Is he going to be able to make a move there? Going round the right-hander alongside him is Javier Sobrino as well. Multiple packs of side-by-side, and already the lead pack, Meesters, Yan Cheek at the back of that. The top 4 have indeed pulled away there. Martin Visser, top 5 right there with them, and a 2-second gap between themselves and P6 of Neil England.
Yeah, look at the battles here. These guys are all bunched up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back there. As our leaders come across the line. Ian Zedek. We've got Rich Meesters, Jan Zedek, Martin Visser, all lined up in a nice, straight, clean line. Looks like Visser's going to try and make a move down the inside. Oh, they go. Oh, my goodness.
Well, they're definitely getting a little bit hairy there, and it does remind me of the real SCCA runoffs, ladies and gentlemen. The Spec 4 drivers, for lack of better words, they will not mince having to go at a position here. As up in the top 4, top 5, they are indeed still battling that. But let's check in back here. It is an absolutely massive pack of cars. Spec Racer Fords almost as far as the eye can see as Kevin Adrian. He's managed to gain 5 positions in this melee of a first 2 laps. Mikkel Tabinares right behind him. He's up 7, and that is indeed the battle for P2 in the club class. But right now, Rich Meesters, he's there, and he's about 2 seconds to almost 3 seconds ahead of this pack. You gotta wonder, are these guys going to start bump drafting? Are they going to start leapfrogging, or are they just going to keep squabbling amongst themselves? As that is a hell of a dive there from Brandon Priest, and even further back, that's contact, I believe. That may have been Philip Besson. Oh, it's Saunders.
Yeah, I just got in there way too deep. Just could not slow that car down. Unfortunately, gets into Kevin Adrian too. It spins him right out.
Oh, you can see
way too much momentum on the dirty part of the track.
That indeed was the move there from Steve Saunders, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna from Brandon Priest. Sorry, let's see if we can get a picture. As there goes Brandon Priest goes around. Let's take a good kick there with the 303 car of Steve Saunders. You see, he comes in hot, missed the braking slightly, and sadly Kevin Adrian ends up getting caught in that.
Yeah, just no too much speed to even try and make that corner. Just collects a few carbs. Excuse me. I'm sure we're going to have a few unhappy drivers on the microphone over that one. It was a really ambitious move this early into the sprint, but we'll have to see how everybody sorts out. Unfortunately, they don't have a fast repair, so hopefully the damage is minor to the 10 car of Kevin Adrian.
Yeah, certainly not the result he was looking for. And yeah, Jake ends there in the chat saying Adrian didn't need that. I believe no driver definitely needed that. As mowing the lawn, it will wax out from Tecratube in Swelio's chat. But right now, the lead 2 cars have indeed pulled away. These guys are definitely getting used to driving the Spec Racer 4 here. And Ian Joyner, he has been almost unstoppable, ladies and gentlemen. Zedek Hammock, though, giving it a good run for his money. As I say that, he's doing exactly what I suggested. He's there. He's giving a good bump draft. And these guys are trying to pull away from the absolute onslaught of cars behind them. Saying that, it's Rich Meesters, Jan Janchik, and Martin Visser there in the pack of 3, all fighting for that final spot on the podium. But these drivers, if they work together, well, this is going to be exactly what they need to do to try and catch up to that lead pack. Otherwise, though, looking behind them, Thomas Niemanen, he's going at it there with Michael Sabinares. He's up 7 positions, but right now, let's give a shout out to the driver of the number 11 car. Ladies and gentlemen, Yanis Theophanopoulos, currently up 11 positions so far.
Wow, great move forward. A little bit of attrition from that recent spins, but yeah, moving up forward in these cars, and this pack is tight. These guys they're going to be sweating their arms, and their hands are going to hurt after this. There is a lot of tight racing here. 3 wide, 4 wide. Oh, just absolutely insane. This is great racing here at Road America.
It is indeed fantastic racing there, as indeed they managed to get through cleanly. Ladies and gentlemen, survival is a huge part of the sim, and indeed you can see these guys currently pulling it up the hill. Zoltan Zomator now and Philip Masson, these guys are going at it side by side. Philip Falcon right behind them as well. Let's take an onboard view here from the rear corner of the number 17. You can see there on his inside is Zoltan Zomator, and Javier Sabrino looking to try and recover a little bit there behind him. He's down 5 positions from the start. Look at the damage there on the front of that number 19 car. Left front corner definitely had a hit at some point, as these drivers are indeed duking it out for P10 in the mix.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are. It's all a matter where you finish. So you're going to battle hard. You're going to be in last place and still be battling hard. You got other drivers that are doing the same. Pack seems to be spreading out a little bit after that little chaos we just witnessed a couple laps ago. Everybody's spread out just a little bit, maybe not pushing quite as hard. But everybody's still pushing for every position they can get, and they are not scared to go 3 wide through the carousel, down to Canada Corner, or any part of this track.
Yeah, that just makes for absolutely fantastic racing, as indeed these guys are indeed battling out. Javier Sabrina with that damaged car, he's going to want to make sure he stays there with company, because that will definitely affect his straight line speed. But right now, that is a battle for P10, P11, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, P10 has pretty much jetted away there. Philippe Masson able to pull away a 1.4 second gap, as it indeed appears to be orange versus yellow happening a little bit further back. Don't get me wrong, we got no team championship this time for the Almeida Racing Academy, but certainly I'm starting to wonder here, are we going to see a little bit of rivalry between these drivers, as Mark Schmerder looking to get in on the mix as well. It's now a five-way fight, ladies and gentlemen, as Schmerder getting an absolutely fantastic drive down the straight. Can he leapfrog all 5 of these cars? He's got the 868 ahead of him of Andre Svoboda. Is he going to have the real estate to make a move there in turn 1? Backs out of it.
Yeah, really smart move to back out of it there. Just coming into turn 1 there, it's really treacherous. And, you know, you don't know what the other drivers have got going on. And we have, as you said, we've got, you know, basically team drivers here, not a team championship, but we still have team drivers. There may be some communication there saying, hey, hold this guy up, do this. So you got to be weary of that, too, as we see Kevin Adrian trying to make his way back up through the field here after that incident. Actually, this incoming corner.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought they were going to have contact, but Kevin Adrian looking to put his nose there on the inside. Dominic Sayu running really deep there. Going to be see if he keep it on track. Goes a little bit wide, able to just keep hold of the car, as we're going to see 3 wide going through there. I've got to admit, that is not going to be the best of suggestions, that they very quickly go back down to 2 a file. But ladies and gentlemen, what an absolutely incredible battle being occurred here. Dalton Zomator at the front of this packet with Andre Svoboda, and it looks like Mark Schroeder right in the mix of things as well. You got to wonder, how much are they slowing themselves down here in this absolutely incredible battle? This is exactly what we want to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the Almeida Racing Academy does not just teach outright qualifying pace, outright race pace, but it does indeed teach you racecraft, ladies and gentlemen, and we are seeing a fantastic display of that right now.
Yeah, absolutely great. I mean, despite the incident we saw, absolute great racecraft by all these drivers. Very respectful, side-by-side racing, good drafting, backing out of it, not taking the risks. We'll see how things go when we get down to our final lap, but it looks like everybody's very, very respectful here and not willing to give up the position they have just to gain one and maybe lose it in the next lap.
Indeed, and we got quite a busy chat happening. We got Captain Nissan who's joined the chat. I've got to say, first time I've seen you there. By all means, hit that subscribe button. And his point of view, every corner mistake is amplified by the long run after every corner. Get one wrong and it's a ton of time loss. Absolutely, Captain Nissan, I 100% agree with your conclusion there. But Yanis Vanopoulos right now, he's up there in P8, ladies and gentlemen. As indeed, let's go and check in with the lead battle so far. Zadek Hammock has indeed taken the lead, but for how long from Ian Joyner? I have a feeling that if you're in the lead of this race, it's because Ian Joyner has let you, ladies and gentlemen. He will definitely be looking to make a strategic move further back in the race. Having a quick look back, though, 6 seconds behind this freeway fight for P3. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Rich Mises, Jan Janchik, and indeed that is Martin Visser as well in the teal car. These guys are fighting for P3 overall, but Janchik, all he has to do is keep this car on the straight and narrow for a good haul of points, ladies and gentlemen, as his nearest competition is Neil England, who's currently about 5 seconds back behind him, deucing it out with Thomas Niemanen.
Yeah, starting to see a lot of them go a little bit wide into the corners here. Maybe the tires are starting to wear out a little bit, get a little bit hot, even though we are down to... Oh!
That's Rich Mises, ladies and gentlemen. He has indeed gone around. Let's take a look at the replay and find out exactly what happened. You can see Mises here up on the inside, making his way to the left-hander. Hard braking zone. Gets there, runs a little bit curved. The car
too much grass.
Yep. Unsettles a little bit there, and around he goes. Definitely an unfortunate spin there from our Polter, but nonetheless, he's there in P10. There will be an invert grid, I believe, for the main race. Don't hold me to it, ladies and gentlemen. Reese Gardner not currently present, and definitely one who keeps me in check. But Mises there, taken to the sand once again. He's going to want to try and avoid the battle that's behind him. It's too late. Mark Schmerder, yet again with damage, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I've ever seen his car finish a race without damage. He's definitely one for abusing the bodywork, you could say. Likes a little bit of a bum bum tap tap there, as he's currently there in P11 overall.
Yeah, and I know how Mises feels. You know, you make one mistake, your car comes back, and then your tires are hot, you're frustrated, you're angry, and you come out, you just start pushing a little bit too hard. looks like he did that there in that corner. As you see here, Schmurder's going to try and take him here in Canada corner. No, he's going to back out of it, let him do it. He'll probably try and take him on the straightaway, I think, on that bit. As he runs a little wide through Canada corner as well.
Well, indeed, we are indeed chatting with the people there in the two YouTube stream chats. Jersey Shore. I do apologise. Jersey DCR. I do indeed mean you. I got a feeling Jersey Shore is some kind of I don't know, teenage show. I don't know. It sounds familiar, but not enough that I've ever watched it. But Martin Visser right now going side by side with Yan Yanchik. Now, don't get me wrong, the gap to P2 and P1 and P2 ahead has grown to 7 seconds. The gap behind is 5 seconds. Honestly, they need to play this strategically. They've got about 2 minutes left in this race. Robert, how hard would you push to try and get that final spot at the podium? Keep in mind, we got a club class and we got a premier class here. This is going to be more keen to get that, but don't get me wrong, it's done by overall points, so there is a good incentive to fight, but are you going to fight hard enough that you risk potentially catastrophically falling through the order? What would you play it as, Robert?
I'd probably just be sitting back there right now saying I either want him to make a mistake like that and then take a run at him. Perfect timing. I mean, that's what you're waiting for. You're not going to push the car. You're not going to go out. It may not be a podium, but take the 4th place position because you know you're on him. Spook him. Show him that maybe you're going to try and make a move. Play with him a little bit. See if you can get him off his game. Make a mistake like that, and then jump on him when the opportunity makes itself known. But you got another full 40-minute race coming up. You're better off to hang on to your car and find out what this driver does in case you get into a battle at the end of the full feature.
Yeah, that's definitely some valid technique there from Robert Covey. Certainly one of my personal favorites in an endurance race. If I can't beat them on pace, I will absolutely ride their bumper. Personally, I think my personal best is we actually got took out by a car. They were very apologetic, but it's fair to say that we flipped enough times. We could have entered the gymnastics for the Olympic grade, ladies and gentlemen. The car was, for lack of a better word, recycled, mullered. It was pooch, and I then spent the rest of my stint riding on their back bumper to the point where they pulled over. But right now, Kevin Adrian, he's not a fan of that. He's going side by side with Mark Schmurder there as they're making their way down towards the right hander. Rich Meester's ahead, and Schmurder able to hold off Kevin Adrian, but Zoltan Zomator there, he's right behind him. Potentially could see a freeway move here, heading down the start-finish straight. Zomator dipping a little bit of a wheel there as they head towards the final corner before that long straightaway.
And this straightaway now, they should be getting the white flag through here. And I got to say, Kevin Adrian is really, really pushing that car, trying to make his way back after that incident down at the turn. I can't remember the turn number that we saw. But if we come back here to our leaders, Hammock and Joyner, are they on their final lap? Did we get the white flag for them yet?
That is a very good question. Certainly, I do wish that the overlay software would tell us that there was indeed a white flag. But I'm going to say that there's a good chance that it is indeed the final lap. So we're going to stay here with the lead battle. As something has happened further back, let's take a quick peek here. Oh, there goes Mark Schroeder, and indeed, there goes Zoltan Zomator. Ladies and gentlemen, good news for Kevin Adrian. He's going to be able to capitalize and actually see Zomator taking a scenic route right behind. But let's go back to this lead pack here, because right now, Zdenek Hammock, he's currently trying to move his way up through the point standings. Ian Joyner leading with 1,000 points. Zdenek Hammock back there in 7th. But is Joyner going to play strategically? Will he make a move in the final stages of this race? Myself, I think I would be making a move just as they go down the right-hander after that next big straightaway. Ladies and gentlemen, they got Canada corner to go. Don't get me wrong, you can pass around there, but I have a feeling that Ian Joyner is going to start to gather momentum. He's going to tuck in behind that number 27 car. Are we going to see him there start accelerating and then make a move before they go around the big right-hander?
Yeah, great move there. You saw him back off to 27 a little bit. That's going to give him a beautiful run here down into the kick. See whether or not he can keep that momentum. It's a really good tactic. You back off a little bit, get a better run out of the corner for the straightaway. He's got it here, but I don't think he's going to have enough momentum to get him down into Canada corner. Peeks the nose out, takes a quick look at him. Yeah, just not going to be there. A little bit later on the brakes, Looks like he might have backed out a little bit here. We'll see how he comes out of the final corner here, whether he's going to back up and try and get a good run down the straightaway. But I think he might be a little bit too far behind.
Now, I have a feeling here that Ian Joyner has played this strategically. I would have passed further back there, but Joyner reckons that there's going to be enough real estate that he can make the pass as they go down towards the start finish. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be checkered flag this time, Brian. Can Ian Joyner do it? Can the deck hammock hold on as Joyner pulls out of the slipstream? It's going to be neck and neck, and Joyner, he takes it by 100th of a second, not even that, 6,000ths of a second. A well-planned pass. What about Jan Janchik? He's well clear of Martin Visser. I have to check in and see exactly what happened there. It looked like Visser went off track, ladies and gentlemen. But Jan Janchik is personal best. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Jan. I know you're there in the stream. Well done. Atta boy. Able to take not just a class win, but a podium outright as well. Let's check back here. Nieminen, he had a good battle with Philip Masson. Battles happening throughout, ladies and gentlemen. Another one at the line. Brandon Priest takes it there by 300ths of a second over Zoltan Zomator. Absolutely incredible. I believe Javier Sobrino there. I thought he was in the pits. Certainly somebody's in the pits. I believe that's Mark Schmerder. But what an absolutely phenomenal race that was.
Yeah, well, he did really good job getting him at the line there. I'm with you. I thought if he was going to make the move, he would have had to make it coming out of the carousel on the run down to Canada Corner. But a beautiful move. 1,000ths of a second. That's a close finish. Photo finish for sure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what you can expect to see here at the Almeida Racing Academy, and especially so with the Spec Racer Ford. The only cars I can think of in the iRacing sim which offers such close racing, honestly, the Formula V. Definitely not a favorite amongst many drivers, but certainly, I mean, you can pretty much drive the whole thing in third gear, but certainly it does promote close racing. But let's take a look here at the results from Heat 1 for the Almeida Racing Academy here at Road America. An endurance round, ladies and gentlemen, the second one of the season. Ian Joyner took the win by, as we're both quite impressed here, but from Zedek Hammock by 12,000ths of a second. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, math is not my strong point today, or indeed one of many. As Jan Janchik able to take his first ever class win here and a P3 overall. Martin Visser had a little bit of an off track near the end of that. He's there in P4 with Neil England in 5th. Philip Masson takes 6th, and that is indeed the close of the club podium as well. With Thomas Nieminen, good to see him back up there in 7th. Yanis Fiapanopoulos, the hard charger, made his way up 12 spots, ladies and gentlemen. He's there in 8th with Michael Sibinares in 9th, and then Rich Mises able to hold on to round out your top 10.
Yeah, we got Kevin Adrian taking on 11th. Xavier Sobrino takes 12th place with Brandon Priest and Philip Falcon down to 14th. Zoltan Zomator at 15th. Zomator in 15th. Andre Shibota in 16th. James Conrad 17th with Dominic Seo 18th. Steve Saunders and Murray Schmerder round up your 20 car field.
Well, what an absolutely belter of a race, ladies and gentlemen. As indeed, we have just, yep, and here he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, we did make a request here. Jan Janchik, well, we did encourage you to find your way back to the interview booth, and indeed you've made it. How do you feel? You've just made not just a P3 overall, but your first class win. Tell me exactly what's running through your veins right now.
Well, hello guys. A lot of adrenaline, for sure, because that was a tight race, and swapping position for a lot of places there, and it was a crapshoot at the end who's gonna win it, because so many places were swapped. We tried to push each other, battle each other. Rich made a mistake and spun it too much on gas, so that was unfortunate. But I'm glad that Martin made that mistake, because I was expecting him to just smoke me on the finish straight. I was tight.
Well, certainly, I'm going to give your rival there a little bit more recognition, Jan, because certainly we've seen Martin Visser. He's aggressive, but I'd say he is pretty fair. But what an absolutely fantastic result. We're going to be heading into the endurance round. It's going to be a 40-minute race. You are going to have to save on fuel. I know myself going in, knowing that these cars, that the pit stop can indeed be very strategic to make a pass, and how potent the slipstream is. What's going to be your strategy going into this race?
I haven't planned any strategy. I just calculated the fuel I'm gonna need, and I will just play it by ear. I guess when I'm in tow, I'm gonna stay in tow. Hoping I get tow after the pit stop and bring it home someplace. I don't know. Something's gonna happen anyway.
Well, yeah, and certainly offering a little bit of guidance there. He's going to basically wing it, which fair play. He knows what fuel he's going to need, but I have a feeling, Jan, if you're in a slipstream, you're going to be needing a little bit less. That's my piece of advice from a seasoned Spec Racer Ford veteran. But Jan, before we let you go, we've got about a minute left to warm up. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out for that last race performance?
Well, of course, the top two, they got away pretty quick. And everybody that raced with me and around me, that was a tight fighting. Thanks, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the driver of the 445 car, and indeed making his first ever club win, and indeed a podium, third place overall. Ladies and gentlemen, Jan Jančík, we're going to wish you the best of luck in the endurance races coming up in about a minute's time.
Thanks. Enjoy the race.
Well, definitely good to get a mid-rate, well, a short interview there. But before we go to that race, we should probably take a quick a message from Swelio.
If you're a racing driver and you want to reach an advanced level, there's a faster and easier way to become competitive. I've gone from this to this in 5 years. Now, we've created the perfect free driver development guide to help you understand the right order of racing skills to develop if you want to become a competitive driver as quickly as possible. This guide was made after 3,000 hours of combined high-level coaching.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be part of this league, you do indeed need to be part of the Almeida Racing Academy. And I got to say, there is big updates coming. The 28th of November, there's going to be a Black Friday sale. And my advice to you, get in on that. Robert Covey, are you listening? Almeida Academy 3.0 is coming 28th of November. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking forward to seeing the advert for that specifically. A little bit of a spoiler there. As Jersey DCR, great to see you here on the Pit Road Productions chat as well. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. We do indeed appreciate the love. But let's get ready to do the grid here for the 40-minute main feature at Road America.
Starting the grid, we've got Ian Joyner alongside. Here we go. The name again. Zedek Hamak.
Attaboy.
They are going to start they are going to start in the order they finished, 1 and 2. And then we're going to have Jan Jacek and Martin Visser along in row 2, along with Neil England and Philip Messon in P5 and 6. Torres Demian and Yanis in 7th and 8th. Michael, sorry about the names, guys. I really apologize. Michael Sabinas and Rick Meesters in 9th and 10th. And Flippy take on the rest of the field.
Well, we are indeed going to leave that blank for now, ladies and gentlemen, as these guys are getting ready to go. It's going to be an absolute belter of a race. You can see these guys. It is indeed going to be the same grid as what they started. My apologies there. It's fair to say it doesn't take much for me to get confused, and there's a lot of race series we cover here on Pit Road Productions, to which I say thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is the biggest thing that I've got to say about that. But Ian Joyner, he's going to be back on the pole. What is he going to be able to do here? We're getting ready to go green. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an absolutely belter of a race start. Is he going to go early? Is he going to go on the green? And we're going to see an absolute amount of chaos there as they head down into turn 1. The suspense, the adrenaline, as indeed go, go, go. And Ian Joyner pulls away as they make their way down, heading down towards turn 1. Martin Visser already there, applying pressure. Jan Jančík there as well, as they are indeed free wide. Jančík holding on to that inside line. Good call there. I would not want to be in the middle, which is exactly, and oh my gosh, contact Zedek Hamak there, able to make an absolutely astonishing move, but Jan Jančík able to get ahead for just a brief second and leading the race, but Ian Joyner is having enough of it as Martin Visser goes round. Jančík gets caught up as well. Absolute chaos and pandemonium there. Joyner able to survive, and right now Mikel Sivanares is able to make his way up into P3, ladies and gentlemen.
A really aggressive start by all these drivers. Everybody really wants to get it going. They're all warmed up. They've had that 15-minute race, and everybody's ready to go. And a little bit of a push too hard into turn 1. Left versus Fins as we go 3 wide down into here again. These guys are not afraid to take these cars 3 and 4 wide. This is insane.
Well, I've got to say, Robert Kirby, we are indeed going to have to get you in a Spec Racer Ford. And ladies and gentlemen in the chat, let me know, would you be interested in racing a one-off event here with Pit Road Productions? Because certainly we've been floating the idea for a while, but we need to know that there's interest. So by all means, join our Discord and let us know. But right now, Kevin Adrian, he's up 6 positions on the day. He's actually, he's a hard charger right now. Zoltan Zomator. Actually, as I say that, Brandon Priest has just gone up 7 there as he's battling there with Thomas Niemann. And he's back down to 6. These two guys are indeed scrapping side by side as they make their way round Canada corner. Yanis Fiapanopoulos, the hard charger of the last race. He's up there on the inside of Thomas Niemann. And is he going to be able to keep it together there as they're heading down towards the King?
Yeah, Kevin Adrian really pushed there. Now we're on board here with Yanis Stephanopoulos coming through the kink. Oh, we got a car off.
That's Neil England. Well, not quite sure what happened to Neil England there, but he said, he fell back 9 positions. We'll have to take a look at the replay. You did see that he had an off-track excursion. Let's take a quick look at the replay here, find out exactly what happened. Oh my gosh, got caught there. With no one of the drivers able to keep hold of it, but that could have been absolutely catastrophic there. Rich Meester's getting caught in as well. He sustains damage to the left front corner. That could be something that's going to carry with him the entire race, ladies and gentlemen. As right now, Ian Joyner has managed to pull away a massive 2-second gap. He knows how to do that, but right now, Zdenek Hammock, Kevin Adrian, and Brandon Priest are currently there, battling for P2. These 3 guys will definitely know the strategy, and they will definitely want to pull away from the competition that is behind them of Thomas Niemann and indeed about 8 or 9 other Spec Racer Fords.
Yeah, Kevin Adrian just definitely looking for some redemption after that first that sprint race where he got spun around and got thrown into the back of the pack. He did work his way back through, but now he's oh my goodness. That was Rich Meester's. Hard into the wall. That is probably going to be it for his race.
Well, let's try and have a look, see here what happened. So there's Niemann. He rejoins. He's okay. And here's Meesters.
There we go.
Okay, so Meesters gets caught.
Just gets caught on the left rear quarter panel there. Gets spun around into the wall. Yeah, and unfortunately, without a fast repair, I think that's going to be it for his race. We'll see if he can get enough repair to get back out there, maybe tally up some points. But we got Kevin Adrian and Brandon Priest, and now Zdenek Hammock has joined the fight for these the P2, 2, and 3. These guys want a podium, and they will fight to get it over these next, 35 minutes.
Yeah, certainly myself. I love to be aggressive on track. I'm all about the passing. I'm all about the race car. For me,
I know.
Robert Covey firing a very cheap, but albeit somewhat accurate shot there. I didn't take him out last time, but I will point out that last time I raced, I got 2 podiums in class, including a win, ladies and gentlemen. How many did you get, Robert? I don't know.
Couldn't hold the car on the track.
Yeah, there we go. Silence, ladies and gentlemen. Silence. I feel like such a douche now, ladies and gentlemen, but we are indeed going to leave Robert Covey alone, at least for now, as we're going to watch the battle here between Brandon Priest, Kevin Adrian, and Zdenek Hammock. But saying that, further back, it looks like we've got an absolute onslaught of cars. That is exactly what we've got here, ladies and gentlemen. Yanis Stephanopoulos is leading an absolute gaggle of cars behind him. Andre Sabota, Javier Sobrino, Steve Saunders, Neil England, Philip Masson, Martin Visser, Jan Janchik, James Conrad. All of these drivers, there's 8 cars in this pack, all vying to find their way up through the ranks, as Yanis Stephanopoulos is currently P8 overall, but P3 in the club class.
It looks like some of them are, well, there's a little pull out there, but it looks like a lot of them are just kind of sitting back, because as you said, they do have a pit stop in this race. They are going to have to stop, pit for fuel. I think everybody may be doing a little bit of fuel saving here, saying, hey, let's not push it, which is good strategy in these longer races. You know, you got another 35 minutes you got to go. So right now, just kind of hold your time, wait for your pit stop. When you come out after that pit stop, then you can really light it up and see what you can do against your competitors.
Well, certainly as a seasoned Spec Racer Ford racer, I can tell you that the bump draft is somewhat effective, but on the longer straights, you actually want to do a little bit of leapfrogging action here as we see 3 wide. This could end very interestingly. I do see somebody doing a little bit of a bump draft further back now. Let me try and see who that is. It was indeed Neil England there, giving a little bit of love to Steve Saunders. Trying to give him a little bit of shunter there as Martin Visser goes and tucks in. Janchik, oh no, I seen it coming a mile away. Janchik gets caught, and who's that? Philip Masson wrapped up with him there. He is not going to be happy. Indeed, the Teddies may be out of the pram on this occasion. Not the result he was looking for after the last race success.
Yeah, running the, it just looks like they might even be team cars or just running the standard Almeida livery, which is a beautiful livery. A lot of really nice liveries and clean liveries out here on these cars. Look really good, really nice to watch them go around the track. But if they're teammates, I can certainly hear some teams chattering going on after that incident.
Yeah, you can see there, Rich Meesters and Dominic Sayu currently in the pits with a meatball flag. Ladies and gentlemen, that does not mean they've been given lasagna or indeed spaghetti. It means that the car is damaged to the point it is not allowed out there on track. That's one club and one Premier driver currently serving a meatball flag. But right now, Kevin Adrian, he's looking to try and secure another club class win, ladies and gentlemen. He's in P3 overall. Zdenek Hammock right behind him, just 18 hundredths of a second. These guys are going to duke it out, and that does appear to be a little bit of damage there on the front of Adrian's car. Definitely is. That's been in the wars, ladies and gentlemen. The number 10 car having a little bit of cosmetic damage there, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really ruin his race by any means. I have to wonder as well, is that a bit of damage on the front of Zdenek Hammock there? I don't believe so.
I think that's just delivery design, but I think, as you were saying there, you know, as much as he wants to move forward, a little nice little bump draft right into the exhaust line there. I think Zdenek Hammock is going to have something to say about where Kevin Adrian ends up here. As these three just seem to be more content to just stick the three of them together, pull out a nice gap to everybody behind them, and then battle it out maybe after the pit stop. We'll have to see how they do down the straights. But it looks like we're getting a lot of three-car packs starting to build up here.
Very much so. It is a case of risk versus reward. How hard do you want to fight as Zoltan Zomatov, Philip Falcon, and indeed Thomas Niemann part of this freeway pack?
Yeah, a little bit starting to sort themselves out a little bit further back there. You can see that everybody's kind of lined up, but everybody's staying clean. A little bit of a blink there from the one car. Not sure. Hopefully that wasn't on their end. Really wide entry. Nice entry. He's going to get a good run here and keep that car on his inside.
Ooh. That's Philip Falcon that's currently blinking, ladies and gentlemen. He's currently P2 in the club class and indeed P6 overall. You can see him there just ahead of Thomas Niemann, and we're going to have to keep an eye on this connection. The Canadian driver obviously having some connection issues, ladies and gentlemen. I do have to wonder as well, how does that work with the iRacing physics? But Martin Visser right now, he's trying to make a redemption run. Ahead of him, Steve Saunders. He's up 10 positions on the day. Good job there by Saunders. But right now, the hard charger is currently up there in P2. Ladies and gentlemen, there's not really much further he can go. Ian Joyner, 3.7 seconds ahead, just running some clean laps, doing his own thing. But Kevin Adrian applying plenty of pressure, as indeed Zdenek Hammock 3/10 of a second behind. And I have a feeling, I'm sure that's got a little bit of front end damage, but again, don't quote me on it here. As Philip Falcon currently getting a little bit of pressure there from Niemann. Are we going to see him move up on the inside? He's got the nose out. Are we going to see him move on the brakes? Late on the brakes. There we go. Niemann on the inside. Space left there as Philip Falcon goes wide. He's in the sand. Niemann still applying the pressure here, ladies and gentlemen, as they go side by side. Nope, Niemann gets ahead, and now Andrej Svoboda will be looking to try and make his way up into P7 and get that position there. As saying there goes Steve Saunders, ladies and gentlemen, trying to make a move there on Svoboda.
Yeah, you lose so much momentum if you get that car off track through a lot of these corners. You can see Steve Saunders here's got a really good run.
Oh my gosh.
Make him go through. We're going to try and take him 3 wide. Yeah, he's going to give him the room. Yeah, okay, let's go 3 wide into turn 1, see how this turns out. Really tight on the left-hand side there. Let's see how these guys handle this run into turn 1. So we look at Martin Visser's view as he sees everybody run in there, and he's going to take advantage of all of them bunched up. Whoa! Oh!
Oh my gosh.
And Martin Visser, in a beautiful window, able to take off, unfortunately gets caught up in that absolute banger into the wall.
I got him, his crashes go. That's
we
pretty
got
good.
more going on here. 2 more cars side by side into the wall.
Well, that's Yan Cheek and that's Yan Cheek and Philip Masson. That is the second time this race they have indeed come together. Let's take a quick look here and see just how that incident unfolded. We saw it was coming, ladies and gentlemen. Here goes Andrej Svoboda there, going around turn 1, and it looks like they just had a little bit of contact there in an absolutely catastrophic incident. I gotta say, that was fair play to Steve Saunders.
Pirouette in the air, yeah. I think Steve Saunders he just had the corner, and unfortunately, just it looks like the car in front of him just had to breathe the throttle a little bit because he got off track, and that just led to all of that. Then a couple more cars got caught up in that with the car on the middle of the track, and we've got a few drivers in the pits now, and probably a few that are done for today.
Yeah, you see Martin Visser, he's down in the pits. Andre Sabota, Steve Saunders, he's probably in the pits and probably got a doggy bag trying to, put his lunch in something there. Mikel Zibinares, Rich Meester, something happened to him again there. I believe he came out in the pits and something came out. Dominic Sayu as well. So indeed, the field has indeed shrunk. We've lost 5 cars from the field so far. Ladies and gentlemen, it may indeed be survival of the fittest, but right now, further up in the field, Tadek Hammock has managed to make his way up into P3 overall. Kevin Asian, though, right there behind him. I gotta say, if this was me, I would be sticking behind the 2 here, because while Brandon Priest may be leading this pack, you can save enough fuel here. If you just coast, you can indeed leapfrog them in the pits.
Yeah, so fuel save's gonna. I'm not sure what their distance is on a tank of fuel here. I'm not sure, but yeah, saving fuel here. It looks like the 3 of them. It looks like they're battling, but it also looks like they're just kind of saying, you know what, we're not going to push our cars. We still got a pit stop to go. I mean, depending on where their tanks were, this is a good time. The undercut is very, very powerful here at Road America, so it's going to be very interesting to see who pulls the trigger first.
Very much so, but it looks like there's battles happening further back, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Yanis Fiafanopoulos, Javier Sobrino, and indeed Philip Falcon are getting in on the action as well. We keep seeing a little bit of a pattern here. Yellow versus orange, and on this occasion, the orange of Javier Sobrino is going to be the meat in this sandwich, but is it going to be fair to say that his bread will be buttered as he tries to go up against both of these drivers, making a move there on the outside, and that was a definite lift there from Philip Falcon. The Canadian driver maybe looking to try to play about the long game as he's trying to go around the outside of Yanis Fiafanopoulos. No, backs right out of it. Falcon is without a doubt trying to save some fuel.
Yeah, now's the time to do it when you've got somebody in front of you. You're not running alone. You got somebody you can follow for a little while. Save that fuel. Give yourself that much more of a chance, that much shorter of a pit stop for the fuel you need, depending on the calculations you've done. We heard our interview there that he had already calculated his fuel, but that changes throughout the run. So depending on whether the driver can change this during the run, as they save fuel, they may be able to make that pit stop even shorter.
Well, we got to say a goodbye to Jersey DCR there. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you having a good time here and definitely enjoy the practice for your race. If you want to get faster, Jersey, you got to check out the Almeida Racing Academy. It doesn't just help sim racers, it helps real world racers as well. There is value in the material. Certainly, even learning how to practice as well. It's not just about turning laps. You need to go get the education and you will indeed get faster. I mean, just look at Swallow. He started as a musician, then became a sim racer, became a sim racing coach, then he wrote the motor racing checklist, ladies and gentlemen. Sold enough copies of that. He then bought a real radical SR3 race car, won the championship, and then he's been driving there in IMSA with Brian Herter Motorsport. There's only one way to get faster, ladies and gentlemen.
That is a great story.
It's fantastic.
That is a great story for Suello. I mean, just the strides that he's done. I've watched some of his older videos when he was first starting, and I mean, you just see how far he's jumped forward. And I know I am a member of the academy, and I see drivers all the time that I know that they improve and they improve and they improve, and it's all due to the books, the coaching, everything that the ARA offers for everybody. So if you get the opportunity, definitely go and check that out.
Definitely strongly recommended, ladies and gentlemen. I think, honestly, it's not been the best day for him, but Rich Meesters, from my own personal experience, is probably one of the best examples I've seen. For lack of better words, I used to eat him for breakfast on the track. He was more of a hassle than anything, and now, yeah, no, I can't do that now. He's definitely quicker than me. That's right now. Thomas Neiman in there. I believe that was a bump drop on Zomator. Don't get me wrong, it's ambitious here. If he wants to bump drop, yep, and a left, ladies and gentlemen, Neiman going for the fuel-saving strategy. Zomator, you are going to be punching a nice Spec Racer Ford-shaped hole in the air for the driver of the number 14 car. But right now, we're on board with him. Beautiful line there through the left-hander. And indeed, one of the challenging corners here, it's often underestimated. Just as you go over that crest, the weight transfer as you go over the hill, it's very easy to lock up. Some drivers trying to brake late there will find they lock up as the suspension gets very light. And there's also a little bit of a dip there. I think I remember Connor Bell telling me that at one point as well. One of the Almeida Racing Academy coaches, indeed. Kane Halliburton, also one of the other, he's actually the head coach at Almeida Racing Academy, ladies and gentlemen. And for good reason, he has over 8,000 I rating. So to those of you who don't know what I rating is, you start with 1350. I can generally tell you to get up to about 2,000 is achievable for the average Joe. Anything above that takes a lot of talent, a little bit of luck, and indeed a lot of skill. Kate Halliburton, 8,000. I believe the drivers are in the top 0.002% of the world for iRacing. So, like, that's just how quick they are.
Yeah, it's insane. And just back to your other point there at the top of the hill, there is actually it's not a smooth crest. It's actually a bump crest. So if you're on the brakes when you hit that little spot, it will actually take all of your front grip away and really hurt you in the corner. It's a really, really tricky corner to get sorted properly, especially in high downforce or really stiff suspension cars. So it will be interesting. These guys have all managed to do it quite well, but yeah, it's one of those nuances that a lot of people don't understand. Is these tracks are laser scanned. They are wherever the bump is in real life, the bump is there. We see some pit stops starting to go on here.
Yeah, I do believe Yanis Fiordanopoulos snuck into the pits a little bit earlier, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Philip Falcon is going to start that train as well. We're going to have to see how he emerges there. Zoltan Somertor and Thomas Niemanen still going at it for P5 overall.
Yeah, still some good battles going on track here. We can see Brandon Priest and Zdenek Hammock, Kevin Adrian, all still running 1, 2, 3. Just kind of biding their time. Like I said, I'm interested to see whether all three of them pull the trigger at the same time, or somebody decides that they're going to kind of pull the trigger on their own. And maybe, like I said, the undercut here can be very powerful if you get it right.
Yeah, myself, I've never quite understood why the undercut was so potent. Myself, by logic, surely you want the car a little bit lighter, but don't get me wrong, some cars you want to actually carry that fuel load. I'm thinking really of the Porsche 911 GT3 in the iRacing service. The fuel tank's actually in the front of the car, and as it gets lighter, it actually gets a little bit lively, and for myself, it gets a little bit too lively. If anything, I'm better off having a little bit of fuel in there just to keep the car balanced. But again, it all depends on the driver. There's a particular driver I can think of, actually, who he was famous for doing the undercut, and 90% of the time, it actually worked out for him, as it looks like Andres Saboda has picked up a meatball flag as well, and with good honors. Look at the front of that car. He's still in the pits, as is Steve Saunders as well. But right now, we're going to go check back in here with Niemanen and Zomator. These guys have been fighting for the majority of this race so far.
Yeah, I think the undercut works here because it is a very, very long pit lane, and you come straight out into turn one. You don't really get a lot of momentum coming into turn one. And with the other cars, you have to brake so early, because the pit entry here can be very, very tricky as well, because just like that corner, you reach the top of the crest right before the cones where you got to hit the pit limiter if you have one. And if you time that wrong, you're going to slide through the cones, and you're going to end up with a speeding penalty, which is going to be catastrophic at a track like Road America.
Yeah, certainly myself, there was a little while there where I couldn't do a race without getting a speeding penalty, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly it was not alone on pace, but Neil England now, he's going at it with Javier Sobrino, and these guys are battling out as Zoltan Zomator brings it down pit road. Neil England matching suit.
Yeah, and if you could see there, just that angle we had there, you could see how the car kind of lifted off the ground a little bit on those little bumps coming up that hill. It's not a straight line up. It's actually very, very bumpy coming up that, not bumpy, but different elevation changes as you're coming up that hill into the pits. We see Yannick still on track. Yanchik.
There we go.
I apologize.
Good news here.
I'll get their names right eventually.
Yeah, believe me, I've definitely gone and mullered a few of them. But Jan Janchik now, he did get involved in that incident early on, but has been able to get that car back out on track, and for good reason. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if he's going to have enough fuel to make it to the end, but right now he's P3 in club class. Don't get me wrong, he has been in the pits. If he's got enough fuel to make it to the end, though, this could be very beneficial for him. This race could indeed be recovered here. It's Philip Masson, one of the earlier pitters, and oh my gosh, he's picked up some damage somewhere. He's out there now. He already pit, and Zoltan Zomator 2.8 seconds behind. He's pit. Yanis Fiordanopoulos has pit. Neil England has pit. Philip Falcon has pit. Let's see exactly what goes on here. But right now, the only battle we got happening on track is indeed between these three drivers, Zdenek Hammock, Brandon Priest, and Kevin Adrian, all battling it out for P2 overall.
And still waiting for their pit stop, so they're probably going to push this right to the a little bit of off track there. That's going to give them a good run, get around in there, right into the kink. He kind of took that kink early. Yeah, he's going to lose all his momentum for the line he has to take through the kink. So that's going to allow him to run back, Brandon Priest to run back around him here. They'll get back, line to stern, and see whether or not somebody pulls the trigger on this lap, since we've seen all of our other drivers starting to pit.
Yeah, certainly Ian Joyner, he's still out there in front. The gap has come down a little bit. I'd say he's still currently got it about 4.2 seconds. It's fair to say I think he's probably trying to leave a little bit of fuel. As I say that, though, he's out there setting best laps. And right now, the fastest driver on the grid, albeit only just, is Zdeněk Hamák there with 226.48, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible pace there, as he has indeed started to pull away very slightly from Brandon Priest, but not enough that he will break the draft. I have a feeling there's definitely going to be a little bit of fuel saving going on between these two drivers. Kevin Adrian, I'm expecting when he's in the pits to be in there for the shortest amount of times as Javier Sabrina brings it down the pits. Not only that, James Conrad bringing it down pit road as well, and that looked a little bit close there on pit entry. Mark Schmurder right behind him, he's bringing it down pit road. No black flag though for James Conrad, so able to just about get away with it there. Obviously the speed gun showing a little bit of mercy on pit entrance.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit, but man, a lot of damage to the front of that car. He's got no arrow at all on the right-hand side. That right front bumper is just bent right over.
Well, it was
come back to these three, and they just, you know, like I said, I really don't think they're battling. They're just taking advantage of opportunities when they come. I don't really think they're battling, but I think once you see the pit stops go, I think you're going to see these guys start to get their elbows out a little bit. Maybe to try and get around the leader of P2 right now, Hammock. You're going to see Brandon Priest, Kevin Adrian probably get the elbows out and say, no, I want that second podium position.
I got a feeling these guys are actually going to do quite the opposite there, Robert. I have a feeling that Kevin Adrian, he has pace, he has talent, and certainly so does Brandon Priest. He's a former race winner here at the Almeida Racing Academy, if I am not mistaken, as is Zdeněk Hamák. All of these guys have had a good couple of races in the car. I mean, we're on to round 9 so far. It's fair to say they've definitely picked up on how the Spec Racer Ford works. I got to say, huge shout out to Jake Enns. The fuel cell is situated behind the driver's seat, between the driver and the engine. So in other words, right in the middle of the car, ladies and gentlemen. So shouldn't be changing the driving dynamics too much as it starts to lose a little bit of weight there. As Jan Cheek now, it's showing me that he's up in P6 overall, and Zoltan Zomator, something's happened with him. He's picked up a meatball flag. How?
Yeah, we'll have to see whether or not we can get back and see what happened there. But yeah, I saw that pop up too for the meatball flag. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe got himself into the wall a little bit. We'll have to see if we can get that. Oh! I don't know what happened there. That outside car just seemed to come right in on him. That's interesting. Yeah, tried to squeeze, and there was no squeeze happening. It just wasn't any room at all. Interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting incident indeed. Yanis Fiafanopoulos there. I'm not sure if it was netcode, if they ended up getting latched onto each other, but certainly I'm glad I am not a steward in any race series, and for good reason, ladies and gentlemen, as Ian Joyner has taken down pit road, Brandon Priest has taken down pit road, and indeed Thomas Niemanen has taken down pit road. So we do have a new race leader right now. It's Zdeněk Hamák, as Kevin Adrian is still very much in drafting range right behind him. Now, we know that Ian Joyner had about a 4-second lead over the rest of the pack, but there is still 15 minutes left to go in this race. He's got pace, but is Kevin Adrian going to be able to have saved enough fuel? Jan Cheek has had to come down to pit road once again, ladies and gentlemen. He was up in P6 overall. We'll have to see how that develops. For right now, it looks like the closest battle on track is between these two drivers of Javier Sabrina and indeed Philip Balkan. Zoltan Zomator is now currently going down pit road in that crumpled beer can of a car.
Yeah, these cars still do pretty well with a little bit of damage, but I think definitely compromised when you want to take it over a position here. As I said, Kevin Adrian, he's gonna have to commit to the pits here based on the way they're going here. I'm thinking he's probably gonna have to come in at least this lap or the next lap, along with Zdeněk Hamák. These guys are gonna have to come into the pits. We'll have to see how they cycle out.
Well, indeed, it looks like Jan Janchik has indeed re-emerged from the pits for the second time today, and he's currently in P5 in the club class. He's got about a half a second, not even, lead over Yanis Fiafanopoulos, but look at the damage on the front of that car. Indeed, there's a bit of damage on the back of the 445 as well. This could be an opportunity here for Yanis Fiafanopoulos there. These guys are both in the club class. Sultan Somator still courtesy with that meatball flag. As I say that, it's just gone out. He has indeed fixed that car enough that it is indeed, I'd say, roadworthy. That might be a bit of an oversell there as we read Zdenek Hammock in the closing stages of this lap. Are we going to see him come down pit road yet again? These guys still out there. Kevin Adrian tucked right behind. A 38-second lead there over Ian Joyner, as indeed they both make it down pit road. What's this going to mean here for Ian Joyner? He had a 4-second lead before. Is Kevin Adrian and Zdenek Hammock going to be... They came in pit road side by side. That's cutting it.
That's really pushing it. Yeah, we're going to have to see what kind of pace Ian Joyner has after he came out of the pits there. He is currently 38 seconds behind them and closing. So we'll have to see how he can get, whether or not he can get them before they come out. He may have actually lost the lead if they can get in and out of the pits quickly. Ian Joyner may have to battle to get that lead back. Of course, here he comes down the front straight. They are still in the pits. Still sitting stationary. So Ian Joyner is going to retake the lead here, but here comes Kevin Adrian. He's going to come out right behind him here.
He's done it! And there is right behind him is Ian Joyner, and fair play to him, Kevin Adrian. I did say he'd be there saving fuel, and it's exactly paid off for him. The question is, can he keep Ian Joyner, your championship leader? Can he keep him behind Zdenek Hammock now? He's 2.3 seconds back. If Kevin Adrian plays this right, he could potentially be on for a debut outright win here, as Ian Joyner already fighting back as they make their way down the straightaway. If I was Kevin Adrian, I would very much play the Brit at his own game, tuck in right behind and wait until the final straightaway to make that move.
Yeah, definitely, you know, sitting in the pits, a lot of people figure the tires don't cool. The tires cool a lot sitting there taking that fuel, so you have to kind of take into account Kevin Adrian's got a little bit cooler tires. Ian Joyner's managed to get his tires. You've got a full lap on him. His tires are up to temp, so yeah, just tuck in behind him, get your tires into their window, and then, you know, come at him here in the last 10 minutes. And see what you can get out of it, because both him and Zdenek Hammock both ran a lot more than Ian Joyner in the first place. So those two did really well at saving fuel, and hopefully they can take full advantage of it here in the last 10 minutes of this race.
Well, certainly I've got nothing against Ian Joyner, but I would like to see if Kevin Adrian can, for the first time, get an outright win there. As saying that, it looks like Joyner's been able to pull away almost a 6/10 of a second lead. As saying that, in the straightaway, it is going to go down here. Zdenek Hammock, he's caught up about half a second so far. I do have suspicion there is still damage on the front of that car, but don't quote me on it. You can just see a little bit of tire poking out. I'm not entirely sure, but very saying that, in the straightaway, he's lost another 3/10 of a second as Kevin Adrian has tucked right back up behind Joyner. All he's got to do is maintain the cornering speed there, stay tucked behind that number 8 car, and if he can do the same move as Joyner did there in the little sprint race, he may indeed be on the books there for his first ever outright win at the Almeida Racing Academy. There is still 10 minutes left to go on the nose, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed this is going to really spice up in the closing stages of this 40-minute race.
Yeah, Kevin Adrian's tires should be up to speed now as we go on board with Philip Falcon, currently running in 8th place, battling with Javier Sobrino. Coming up here into the final corner down the front straight. Looks like Sobrino's pulling up on him a little bit. Might get a good run coming out of the corner here if he can make this smooth.
Oh.
Tap of the brake. Yeah, he's going to get a really good run on him. Now, is he going to draft him or is he going to try and, whoa, blink. There we go. Come up on the inside. Very nice, clean line pass. Looks like he'll be able to take him into turn 1 here and grab that position from him.
Well,
he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight him hard.
Well, you can see here, not quite able to get it done was Philip Falcon, and you got to wonder as well.
Yeah,
that's
it
just
looked like he backed out.
Oh, here we go. This could be interesting. Mark Schmurder yet to finish a race without a crumpled car. Jan Janchik already been in the wars this time and has indeed repaired that. You do have to wonder, as you start to experience different drivers, there's certain ones that you do learn to keep away from. And nothing against Mark Schmurder, I just can't remember ever seeing his car without damage on it. Ladies and gentlemen, the man definitely likes to get into a bit of a grudge match. But Jan Janchik currently there in P5 for the club class, P11 overall. And saying that, you got to wonder how hard does he want to fight. Mark Schmurder is indeed in the Premier class, as he is indeed going for the bump job. Now, you got to wonder how successful is that going to be, because it's 9 seconds to the car ahead. Don't get me wrong, I would sit there and save fuel just in case the numbers have gone skewed. I'm not sure how to play this. The bump draft isn't going to be worth it, but don't get me wrong, I don't think he wants Schmurder behind him either.
Yeah, I think Jan Jannik he may have that attitude now of just kind of biding his time, and you know, he's had that large incident, and now just kind of take what you can get. If the window opens, take it. But otherwise, I don't think he's going to push his luck right now. As Kevin Adrian's stuck right on the tail of Ian Joyner here. Just we got a car off track there. Yeah, stuck on the tail of Ian Joyner here. Just gonna ride behind him here as the clock counts down and the laps count down on this. He's in a really good position and really good momentum to be able to probably take him and grab his first class win.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a strategic game. Kevin Adrian, definitely no slouch. Honestly, you should see him in the rain. I've never seen anybody, I've never raced against anybody get so much grip from a Formula 1600 in rain. I believe it was... I can't remember the name of the track. It might be Oschersleben, if I'm not mistaken. But Kevin Adrian tucked right in behind. The gap behind to Deck Hammock there is staying steady at about 2.5 seconds. So as long as these guys keep it in check, they could indeed be all right. As Jan Janchik there choosing to stay right behind the number 80 car as well. He's not forced to pass. Javi Sobrino, meanwhile, is starting to pull away very slightly from Philip Falcon. You can see at the start of this straight, the gap was 0.6 of a second. He's already pulled that in by a tenth. Now 2 tenths, ladies and gentlemen. You can see him getting even closer, and if they work together, they could indeed catch the car ahead of Neil England. Looking at the last lap times here, they should catch him in the next probably 2 laps or so. It's going to be a bit of a grudge match at the end. 6 tenths of a second, maybe 7 tenths of a second, 8 tenths of a second that last lap there. Neil England slower than Javier Sobrino, so he's really going to have to put his foot down if he wants to avoid the likes of the number 19 and the 16 of Javier Sobrino and Philip Falcon.
Yeah, and the two of them have to actually work together. Like that happens a lot too. Is if they'll work together, then it could be beneficial to both of them. But if they decide that they're going to battle themselves, if he gets a run on him here, or if they decide they're going to battle themselves, it could hurt them in the long run. So we'll just have to see how this all plays out. Yeah, it seems to be opening back up a little bit here between them.
Yeah, certainly you can see there, if we have a look at the lap times, ladies and gentlemen, between these 3 drivers, you'll have a bit of a reference there just about how it's going. So you see there, Neil England at the top, Sobrino in the middle, and Philip Falcon, and it looks like, yeah, you can see a little bit of a pattern there. Neil England definitely not quite had the pace he once had, and these guys, last lap there, they both pulled in on them massively. So 8 tenths of a second that last lap from Sobrino, 1.3 seconds Philip Falcon caught up to him in theory on lap 12. So definitely some interesting dynamics going here. He's going to have to keep an eye on his rear wing, as these guys have caught the gap down to 1.3 seconds so far, with about 5 minutes left of this race to go.
Now back to our leaders here. Kevin Adrian just sitting patiently. He's got the fastest lap right now with a 2:26.366, 2 tenths faster than our leader Ian Joyner. So he's got a run on him. See, and I've seen way more powerful draft here, so I almost feel like he's kind of holding back a little bit here.
Oh yeah,
there's a little lift right there. That's a full lift. As we come down, we've 5 minutes to go in the race, so the really good strategy by him. Take his corners nice and clean. Keep those tires within their window. Don't overheat them. Keep them right where they need them. 5 minutes to go, which would be about 3 laps. 3 laps to go in this race would be my estimate. 2 before they get the white flag. And I think Kevin's just going to sit behind him here and jump on him on the final lap.
Yeah, I think we're going to be in for a last lap showdown here as Kevin Adrian is going at it toe to toe with Ian Joyner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you got to wonder, we've seen Ian Joyner is leading the championship, and fair play to him, he's rated at 5,137 I rating, but despite that, the 35.69 of Kevin Adrian is still very much giving him a run for his money, and the shout out to Kevin Adrian. I've never seen him drive a road car outside of a league myself, but usually when I see him driving, it's in a Formula car, which is a different license, a spec Ford, or indeed whatever the Academy is running that week. Certainly the M2 we did actually run for one season, the Miata we've run as well. Indeed the LMP3, that was an interesting one. It gave us the 5-wide start there at the, I can't think of the
Those things are a handful.
Interlagos. Yeah, Interlagos it was. We saw 5 wide, the Almeida Racing Academy, the most potent race start we've ever seen on Pit Road Productions. 5 wide, Robert, 5 wide. But let's take a quick peek here where Yan Chiku is still riding the coattails here of Mark Schroeder, seeing if he can make his way into the top 10.
Yeah, again, I think a lot of it's coming down to a lot of the drivers. We've had a lot of incidents go through this race. A lot more, obviously, it's a longer race, so you expect a little bit more than you do in the sprints. But we've had a lot of incidents in this race. Drivers pushing, drivers going for a little bit more, and I think everybody's kind of settled down and backed off and said, you know what? I've got some attrition positions. I've got to bump some bangs on my car. Maybe I'm just going to settle down. But you never know until the final lap comes around.
Well, that's exactly what Neil England's going to be looking for, ladies and gentlemen, as that gap has come down. Ladies and gentlemen, within a second now is Javier Sabrina. As Zadek Hammock has just picked up a slowdown, ladies and gentlemen. He must have got a little bit too flirtatious with the course there. And Yanis Theophanopoulos has picked up a black flag. That could be detrimental for him. You can see there the car beaten, damaged, crumpled, as indeed that is going to be a drive-through penalty for the driver of the number 11. Certainly not the race he was looking for on the endurance side.
Yeah, and I think I've been watching that black flag sitting there, and I think he's only got maybe one more lap before he has to serve that. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to continue to be counted. So I believe he's on his 3rd lap now, so he will probably have to come in and serve that penalty on his next lap. With 2 minutes to go in the race. White flag is out.
Well, this is
Let's see what Kevin Adrian has for Ian Joyner.
Yeah, now we've seen Ian Joyner on the close of the first race of the day, ladies and gentlemen. You see he waited to do the move at the start-finish straight myself. It was cutting it close. He did it by 12 thousandths of a second. Can Kevin Adrian repeat that tactic, or indeed is he going to do a slightly different move? Is he going to do the zippy and make it a little bit earlier on? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that my move's going to work, but Kevin Adrian here, this is the opportunity he's been looking for all season. Is he going to be able to make it not just for a class win, but an overall win here at Road America?
Yeah, we'll see what he does here. He's probably going to hold off a little bit, but he's going to try and take a nice wide entry into the carousel here. Try and bring the car around, get it to rotate, get a really good run on him towards the kink. Probably going to try and be right on. Ian Joyner goes fully defensive. Full defensive move, trying to get Adrian out of that draft. They head their way down here to Canada Corner. Only two corners left after Canada Corner for Kevin to pull this off. He goes into Canada Corner. He's got it. Takes it really deep in the corner. Hangs onto it really tight. Oh, Ian Joyner gets a little off track there, a little loose. Kevin has to back out to avoid contact, but he's right on his tail for the run down the straight. But they come down to the final corner here, coming for the checker flag.
But you see there, Kevin Adrian putting a nose up on the inside. That's a little bit of contact there. A little bit of a wiggle, but it looks like Ian Joyner is indeed going to hold on. Kevin Adrian gave it everything he possibly could. The gap down to about 0.4 of a second. It was close, but it was not enough. But nonetheless, Ian Joyner will win the endurance round here at Road America. Kevin Adrian will not get the outright win, but he will indeed get a class win. Fantastic racing between the pair of them. As Zadek Hammock there, almost under attack from Brandon Priest. He's able to get 3rd. Brandon Priest takes 4th, and Thomas Niemann now making his way across the line for 5th. But let's have a look a little bit further back here as Javier Sobrino has indeed managed to clear Neil England. But what about Philip Falcon? He's there. He's applying pressure, and it looks like these 3 drivers are we going to see a move from England at the end. He's there. He's popped out of the slipstream, and it's not enough. Javier Sobrino holds on, takes P6. Neil England will have to second sell for P7 overall, but nonetheless, he takes P2 in the club class. Philip Falcon third in the club class. Here comes Jan Cheek there. He made the move on Schmerter.
Yep. He's going to take it. Schmerter, yep, he's going to take that position away from him.
Well, here you go. This is where that move originally started happening. Jan Cheek went down on the outside. Schmerter there on the inside as these guys went side by side through the right-hander. Door closed very firmly there on Mark Schmerter, but was Jan Cheek able to hold on? I do believe so. Flirting there with the track limits, kicks up a little bit of sand behind, and it's fair to say that was able to get a P5 in the club class. But what I say, what an absolutely fantastic race, ladies and gentlemen. A few of these drivers still out there, still running, but fair play to him. Jan Cheek able to make a good recovery here. He didn't blow up the car this week. That's actually almost disappointing. He usually goes and launches it at the end.
Yeah, so yeah, sometimes that's fun to do, yeah.
I believe it's going to be your last car to cross the checkered flag, and indeed it is, ladies and gentlemen. What an absolutely fantastic round that was. Any of the drivers here who are looking for an interview, by all means, you know where to go. It's going to be the Pit Road Productions Discord. But before we get to that, let's take a quick look here at the results from the endurance round of Road America. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Joyner able to get the win with Kevin Adrian there in second, able to take the club class win. So Zach Hammock, he took third with Brandon Priest in fourth. Thomas Niemann took fifth with Javier Sobrino in sixth. And then Neil England, P7 overall, was second in the club class with Philip Falcon, eighth overall, and third in club class as well. That is your Premier and Club podiums with James Conrad there in ninth. That's a good gain there. Made 8 positions from the start. And Jan Cheek able to round out your top 10.
Then we have Mark Schmerter taking 11th place with Yanis Stephanopoulos in 12th. Philip Mason in 13th with Zoltan Zamotard. 14th. 15th and 16th is Rich Meesters with Steve Saunders. 17th and 18th, Andre Severo, Martin Visser. And 19th, Project Sale and Michael Sabernias round out the field.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please forgive us for any names that we may have absolutely mullered.
Apologize.
Yeah, I was taking it for the team on now on. But ladies and gentlemen, first off, Robert, I believe you've been able to catch up with our race winner, Mr. Ian Joyner.
Ian, great racing out there. Looked like Kevin was going to get you there at the end, but he just couldn't get you out of turn one. How hard were you holding the wheel on that last lap?
Try not to hold it too hard. That's what I would say, like hands. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Again, hadn't had a last lap race for Kevin before here, so I wasn't never quite sure what he was going to do. I probably would have preferred to be behind, but you can't kind of make that happen. That worked out all right in the short sprint race. But Kevin hadn't been super tight to me on those last 2 corners at any point up to then, so I thought I'd just go as fast as I could, hope for the best. But he kind of half went for a move into Canada and then sort of half went for a move again into the last corner. But I think he was just a bit too late and didn't quite have the momentum. So if anything, it probably hurt his own exit a little bit more. So yeah, it wasn't too much of a nail biter to the line this time.
Yeah, from our view, it looked like he tried to corner in the corner there, but it looks like he just overcooked it a little bit to try and take the inside on you there in the last corner. Lost all his momentum, allowing you to take the win there. But a great drive by you. Were you surprised he came out of the pits in front of you, or did you think you were going to be able to hold on to that P1 coming out of the pits?
I knew it was a possibility. I was not fuel saving because I think in that situation where you have a gap, it's best to just make the most of the gap. But I could see that Brandon and Zednek were taking turns in front. So Kevin's experienced racer, done lots of the Weekend Warriors. So I assumed he would be sitting behind fuel saving. So I mean, I didn't necessarily think he was going to get full 4+ seconds on me, but yeah, it was definitely a possibility that he was going to be right there. But I was pretty happy that it was just one car, so all right. But yeah, Kevin just did a great job on the strategy.
Well, he did take the fastest lap away from you, but you definitely took the win away from him. So great job today on taking that class and taking that win. And before we let you go here today, anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Thanks. Yeah, just shout out to League. Yeah, we had some It's a little bit scary going into T1 there, but most lap 1, but it was from where we were mostly just some fun racing. Had a great race with Zednek as well. So shout out to Lee, shout out to all the coaches, and yeah, you for the show as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, bye bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do indeed get to have a chat with the one and only Mr. Kevin Adrian. I've got to say, Kevin, it looked like an absolute race of dreams, almost able to take Ian Joyner away there. Tell us a little bit about your strategy going into that race.
Going the first race, I got taken out, so I was in the middle at the end of the race. So it kind of didn't start out too well, but guys were getting involved in a lot of incidents in front of me in the future race. And I was up there, and I think I was in 4th with a few other guys, and I thought maybe we could leapfrog each other to try and catch up to Ian, but it didn't look like that's what they wanted to do. So I figured, okay, I'll just stay behind and save fuel as much as possible. So I was saving and saving and saving, and it worked out in the pit stops. I came out in front of Ian, which I was kind of surprised, but I knew he'd catch me right away, and just trying to stay in his draft so Zednik couldn't catch me behind. And I knew I couldn't get him out of the last corner. I tried a few times on the previous laps, and I was like, no, there's no way I can. He's too good out of that last corner. So maybe I'll try into Canada corner. And on the last lap, I just wasn't close enough. I made a little bit of a peak there, but it wasn't enough. Ian's too consistent, too fast. So hats off to him, but I'm super happy with 2nd place.
Well, don't get me wrong, it may have been 2nd place overall, but 1st place yet again in the club standings. That's definitely going to help your championship lead there. Well, your championship standings indeed. As you see there, we're just watching you dodge an absolutely colossal incident there involving the number 15 of Neil England. Not quite sure what happened to him at times, but I got to say, Kevin, the chat was absolutely cheering you on. We got Jake N, certainly you're familiar with racing, his son Cairo. He's cheering you on. He's a bit of a fan there. We've had multiple people tuning there, and so it's basically, cheering you on, not just for yourself, but for Canada as well. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a Brit in Canada, so yeah, it's somewhat biased. Ian Joyner, obviously representing the UK. I can win on both fans, ladies and gentlemen. But Kevin, I've got to say, that was an absolutely textbook demonstration of pit strategy here in the Spec Racer Fords at Road America. Fair play to you, and congratulations today on such a fantastic result.
Yeah, thanks. There's a few Canadians in there, so when there's one in chat, they should be cheering for us, I think. So yeah, it's good to hear. Good to hear, and hopefully keep it up on the next few races, the last couple.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a huge congratulations there to Kevin Adrian, as indeed we're going to have time for one more interview. Robert, I believe you've been able to catch up with Zedek Hammock there, who finished P3 in that final race.
Hello,
Zedek,
how are you?
Good. Great job on P3 there. Looked like you were going to try and give Kevin a really good run there, but looks like you just kind of pushed a little bit too hard. Tell us about your strategy there near the end of the race.
Yeah, I try to save fuel in the first stint, but in the I know that I try to push to just be quicker, and I need more fuel. So I lost the pace, lost contact with Kevin in the pit stop because he takes less fuel. He's safe more in the first stint. I try to push with Brandon, I think, to catch the Iron Joyner. So yeah, but it was possible. It was too quick on the first place alone, and we are unable to catch him.
Well, you did a really good run, really good racing, really good craft, really good racing between you and Kevin. Running line of stern there. You guys, it looked like you guys were kind of working together there, not really battling, but working together until the pit stops. And yeah, he just got out of the pits a little quicker. It looked like you were gaining on him, but just looked like the car just didn't have it for you today.
Yes. He was lucky that he caught the Iron in the first place, and he can use the draft, and it was very strong, the draft here, so he can go with the first place on second place easily, and I was unable to catch both of them because he get better speed on the straights. Yeah.
Well, yeah, a great race today, a really good racecraft by you guys. Saw some really good line of stern. Congratulations today on the podium. And anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or mention before we let you go here today?
No, I would like to thank you, the Almeida, and everything happening here, because I like the races, the guys, everything. It's very nice races, fair races. We have good guys all around, and I'm very happy about that. And I think it will really help me to get better in the racing. So thank you.
All right, well, you enjoy that podium, and we'll see you in the next round.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what an absolutely astonishing race that was indeed today. And I got to
That
say,
was exciting to watch.
It really was. It was an absolute belter. But ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed going to bring the show to a close for today. If you want to be involved in this league, you have to be part of the Almeida Racing Academy. That is the only way in. Not only will you be able to be part of this league, but you will make yourself faster as well. There's plenty of course material. There is pit parties. They even go and sometimes they go and swarm the official sessions as well, which can obviously make for a high strength of field. Anybody in the iRacing side will appreciate what that can mean. And certainly I haven't met too many drivers, actually. There are only a handful who've ever won a official series, ladies and gentlemen. I got to admit, I've done it twice, albeit in a lower division, which sounds a little bit, you know, but hey, I did it. Fair play. I'll take the win where I can get it, ladies and gentlemen. Division 6, it's not that much to brag about in comparison to the likes of Connor Bell, who, if I'm not mistaken, won it in F4. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all from me. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and you've been watching here on Pit Road Productions, joined here today by Mr. Robert Kobe. If you are indeed watching, by all means, hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, both on Pit Road Productions and on Swelio Almeida's channel. If you've absolutely had that good a time, you want to share it with your friends, by all means do so. We would love to see this pop up in your Facebook feed. We encourage it, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, we'd love to have more of you here joining us in the chat. But that's going to be it from us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. But thank you very much for watching, and indeed thank you to the sponsors, the World of Racing, Podium One, and indeed Logitech as well. We're going to see you next time, same time.
If you're a racing driver and you want to reach an advanced level, there's a faster and easier way to become competitive. I've gone from this to this in 5 years. Now, we've created the perfect free driver development guide to help you understand the right order of racing skills to develop if you want to become a competitive driver as quickly as possible. This guide was made after 3,000 hours of combined high-level coaching.